And during those 40 years, I, every evening in the studio, stared into some very cold and very dead eyes, the cameras. But tonight, looking at you, I'm looking into some beautiful, lively, colorful eyes from all over the world, and I feel very, very privileged. It's much to be preferred. I'm going to be your master of ceremony tonight. And first of all, I'd like to introduce to you the man who, like you, are burning for ethical, responsible, and transparent business and trade to promote peace. For CSR, corporate social responsibility, the man who some years ago took the initiative to establish a prize to award worthy businessmen and women the acclaim and attention that they deserve. Please welcome Per Saksgaard.
Your Excellencies, esteemed honorees, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Oslo Business for Peace Award and the presentation of the 2010 Business for Peace honorees. This is the 4th annual summit on peace through trade. Since 2007, our summit in Oslo has presented views on enlightened business practice from leaders of governments, business and NGOs under the theme Peace Through Trade. During the initial gatherings and the discussions leading up to them, one thing became clear. Excellent business practice are rarely featured on the global stage. Instead, business and businessmen regularly end up being the villains in the story. And let me add, often deservedly so. There are many instances of bad business practice, and it's correct to reveal these through the power of media and government regulation. Yet our discussions during these first years demonstrated a shortfall. Visionary, exemplary business practice rarely reach the light of day. While there are numerous negative examples, there are also a substantial number of inspiring and educational ways of doing business on the national and on the international scene. And while it's right that bad business is revealed, it should be just as right to point out and recognize that there are better ways of doing business. The 2 first summits gathered a substantial number of renowned speakers, and our discussions eventually took us to the realization that enlightened business persons need to be featured on the world stage as exemplars showing to a better way of doing business under the theme Business Through Trade. This is why last year's summit features the first presentation of the Oslo Business for Peace Award to the 2009 Business for Peace honorees. Before we could launch this award, we had to make certain that it had the required credibility and that it was bestowed with authority. Through working with the networks of our contributors to our summit, we arrived at the conclusion that the final decision of who would become Business for Peace honorees had to be made by an award committee that acts independently from the foundation itself and independent from business, and whose moral objectivity could not be questioned. We also had to make certain that they would apply stringent requirements of those who were to receive an award associated with their names. As you will be aware, our award committee consists of winners of the Nobel Prize in Peace and Economics. Professor Matai and Yunus are both unique Peace Prize winners. It was their initial ventures that brought them to the attention of the world, and which ultimately resulted in receiving their Nobel Peace Prize, actually where we are gathered today. And Professor Michael Spence has done a significant work in economics, including in the fields of corporate social responsibility, and his participation in the committee is of significant importance. Their deciding to work with the foundation was secured in part through the immediate endorsement we received from His Excellency Kofi Annan, who served as the 7th Secretary General to the United Nations. In his endorsement, Mr. Annan stated that it is important to inspire and encourage business persons to be conscious of the role they can play as individuals to foster stability and peace. And he continued to say that the foundation's ambition to promote the ethical concept of being business-worthy, I may add, more than being just credit-worthy, is a novel and powerful idea. Being business-worthy is a concept that can help us inform public perception of what it implies to be a successful business person. Quote Slot. The next step in the process, once we were certain we had an award committee of unquestionable integrity, was to make certain that the process of finding candidates for the award was above reproach. Global nomination process, specific criteria were decided upon and approved by the award committee. Let me say that it's both humbling and inspirational to read the nominations of the candidates for the award. We are fortunate that there are truly encouraging stories of ethically sound business success from all over the world. The 2009 Business for Peace honorees came from many different nations and continents, yet all clearly demonstrated that it is possible to do business in a way that marries business performance with a higher purpose. Today we are gathered to meet the 2010 honorees, and I guarantee that learning of their achievement is equally inspirational. To quote the criteria for the award, these are leaders who through action and commitments are outstandingly promoting the interdependent relationship between business and peace. They are acting as examples to the general public and inspiring the business community by showing how to succeed business, how to achieve success through an aware ethical business practice. They're also strong advocates of sound business principles and social responsibility in corporate governance. And the business wisdom has long since been recognized and appreciated by those their activities touch. You may ask, why then present them with an award? Because too often, their achievements are seen only by a small local or a national circle. A circle often composed of insiders. These are true business symbols and giants who deserve global recognition for their achievement and for the enlightened way in which they are showing a path to a better world. It is thought-provoking that the entire world knows of Bernie Madoff and what he did, while most of us have been ignorant of the excellent work this year's honorees have carried out. Both last year and this year, when we received the screened list of nominations, we became enthusiastic. We clearly saw that there are impressive achievements in ethical and responsible business. In the words of one of the members of the award committee, the task of choosing the honorees is very hard because there are so many significant nominees. We have been asked whether we aren't taking a risk through the award. Isn't your goal naive, given all the examples of cutthroat business that clearly doesn't care about sound ethics? The foundation cannot be responsible for what we consider bad business practice, but we can help shine a light on best practices that go beyond the bottom line and that succeed in marrying business performance with a higher purpose. We can point to persons who have shown that there is a worthier way of doing business. And we are taking a role in honoring business persons who are actively contributing to spreading stability and peace through their wise decisions. We can provide such excellent business practitioners with a global platform from which to share their insights into being business-worthy with the world. And eventually, through spreading the awareness of how social responsible business can also be financially rewarding, we can help increase the number of enlightened businesses worldwide. It is our ambition to shine a light on those who are leading the way in ethical and responsible business, and who are demonstrating that this way of business is not only good for society and for the reputation of business, but it's also very good for the bottom line. Let me conclude by showing to a statement from Professor Michael Spence. He declared that controlling economic resources also carries moral and ethical responsibility. This has become increasingly clear today as new regions of the world are gearing up for industrial and business activity. Inherent in globalization and increasing competition is a serious potential for conflict as resources become scarcer. The founders of the International Chamber of Commerce call them merchants of peace. They saw a need for global collaboration as a result of the devastation of the First World War. In a preamble to its constitution, we can read that the fundamental objective of the ICC, founded in 1919, is to further the development of an open world economy with a firm conviction that international commercial exchanges are conducive to both greater global prosperity and peace among nations. This year's Business for Peace honorees are torch bearers for the truth in that statement, and have in each of their ways shown that business person can contribute to stability and peace in ways that deserves recognitions from the whole world. The Business for Peace Foundation will work to make their achievements known around the world. And let me repeat the words of His Excellency Kofi Annan. It is important to inspire and encourage business persons to be conscious of the role they can play as individuals to foster stability. The Foundation is extremely grateful for the assistance it has received from many important supporters, both formally and informally. We are particularly indebted to the city of Oslo, to the Oslo and the International Chamber of Commerce, World Trade Centers Oslo, the Oslo Center for Peace and Human Rights, McKinsey, and many other important collaborators. In conclusion, let me congratulate the award committee with its work in choosing the 2010 Business for Peace honorees.